just like what was going on in my mind out. And it certainly wasn't like covering for Israel, and it certainly wasn't like trying to paint him out like he's damaged. Or
what do you mean you weren't trying to like protect Israel? Because isn't that exactly what you're doing when you're saying like it's biased to call it a genocide, or like you're saying you're losing your marbles, you're going crazy when you're just pointing out real facts about what's going on in the world? So I feel like he's getting a little bit nervous because he's caught between two worlds. He's caught between the worlds of like major brokers of power, influence, money, i.e. his sponsors, and his audience, his fans, the people who love him, like his roots, right? I feel like I need to do this video for the simple reason that I did a video a few days ago talking about the very odd things Joe Rogan had to say about Theo Von. Kind of really weird what he had to say about Theo Von. He went out on a podcast when Theo wasn't there, and he said, this is after he told Theo, "You're losing your marbles, son. You're going crazy," when Theo was just saying like objectively factual statements regarding America, Israel, the Epstein network, the genocide. He was saying factual things, right? And Joe told him, like, "You're losing your marbles," right? There was other funny things from that podcast. Like, Theo Von said, like, "Oh, Palantir is involved heavily in the Gaza genocide." And Joe was like, "That's not true. Is that true?" And Theo's like, yeah, look it up if you want. It's true. And then Joe has Jamie pull up the website. Jamie goes to the website, and it's like some website says, Palantir has been intricately involved in a myriad of ways in the Gaza genocide. It said something like that. And Joe saw the word genocide, and he's like, "Oh, this is like clearly biased. Like that's a biased source, so no one should read that. Let's get another one up." Like, what? Calling it a genocide is now an obviously biased source that should be discarded. What are we doing? What are we doing, Joe Rogan? It's like Joe Rogan used to be the guy that would always ask the questions, the most, crazy questions. Have it on Eddie Bravo, the flat world, whatever they talk about anything and everything. Now he's the guy that will ask you, like, why are you asking those questions? Are you crazy? You seem crazy, right? Anyways, he did this whole thing where he went out, he said this.
Theo Von's going through the exact same thing. And the last time he was on the podcast, he was explaining it to me. And it freaks me out because I know Theo has had conversations before, like even publicly. He had a Netflix taping and it didn't go well. It was like they shelved it. They never used it. And there was all these stories from people that were there saying he bombed. I think he just had a kind of a breakdown. And when he was talking to the crowd, and there's a video of it, we said, the people were shaking. "Hey, we still love you." He goes, "Thank you. Look, I'm trying not to take my own life. That's what I'm trying to do right now." Yeah.
So anyways, he said this. Theo came out on Facebook. He put a longer statement on his Facebook, I guess. I'm banned from Facebook, so I wouldn't use it anyways, but I don't really know. But anyways, he said, "This is mostly cap. Sad to see this kind of stuff. I'm doing great. I'm a human being, which is a rocky ride, but I'm doing fine. Thanks." The other thing was, like, a few days after the news was shared that, like, he said this at his show that he himself claims he bombed, recording for Netflix. He literally came out and said, like, "Look, I was just saying shit. If you watch my show, I say shit. And I don't mean that. I would never take my own life." And then he goes like, "You hear that, Israel? I'd never take my own life." So he made like a little joke out of it too. Maybe a joke, right? Anyways, then why is Joe saying this stuff? Why would you not just pick up the phone and call him, right? But anyways, I needed to do this video because Joe did apologize. He did apologize. And I don't know. Yeah, take a listen to this. I will say it seems like he's very sincere in the apology. I think he does really care about everyone in the media. I've never met Theo Von, but everyone always says that Theo Von is like such a great, nice, humble, honest guy. So like, I'd imagine that Joe is like sincere in this apology. I wouldn't question that. That's not really what I care about. I say good on him to apologize, right? No one ever apologizes anymore for anything. No one ever Tucker apologizes when he gets like the Iraq war wrong. Joe apologizes here. I say good. Apologize. I think that's good. I think we should all be able to admit our mistakes. But I don't know. It's like he also says some stuff, and let's just listen.
I apologize to Theo. He knows I love him, and he said that, and we laughed and we joked around about it, and I apologize for the way I talked about this. But I felt like I need to explain to other people too, to get just like what was going on in my mind out. And it certainly wasn't like covering for Israel, and it certainly wasn't like trying to paint him out like he's damaged or...
So I this is like the only part I really want to comment on. He says, it wasn't like I was trying to cover for Israel. It wasn't like I was trying to paint him as being damaged. But isn't that like actually exactly what you did? This thing when people apologize, sometimes they say like, oh, well, I wasn't trying to do this, or like, I apologize, but, it's like everyone's done it. I've done it. You've done it, right? And we know that that's not really a great apology. And to those of us who, I like Joe Rogan, I like his podcast, right? But we've been noticing this really weird trend lately where like, yeah, he brought on Dave Smith. That was great to debate whatever that idiot's name is that was pushing all that Israel propaganda. But like more and more, you kind of see this questioning of the questioners, I guess you could call it. And I do find that a bit odd. I do find it a little bit weird. I do find it a little bit concerning, right? As someone who's like watched this show for so many years and always thought that he was actually the one asking the questions that needed to be asked. And now he's asking, why are you asking these questions to people like Theo? So I listened to the full thing. It was a pretty long, lengthy apology that he did. This is just a short clip of it. And I say, credit where credit is due. He apologized. He admits his mistake. He talks about how bad he felt for messing up. And he said at the end of this clip here, it's a 2-minute clip. I encourage you to watch it. He says like, look, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'll make more mistakes. And I also live by that. Okay. No one is perfect. But the thing I care more about here is like, what do you mean you weren't trying to like protect Israel? Because isn't that exactly what you're doing when you're saying like it's biased to call it a genocide, or like you're saying you're losing your marbles, you're going crazy when you're just pointing out real facts about what's going on in the world? So I feel like he's getting a little bit nervous because he's caught between two worlds. He's caught between the worlds of like major brokers of power, influence, money, i.e. his sponsors, and his audience, his fans, the people who love him, like his roots, right? So I don't know. I have so many good feelings about this apology, and I also have like questions about it, because that's really all he said about the Israel part in this. And that was a big thing that everyone brought up, was like, you're saying he's crazy because he's talking about Israel and about Zionist control, but then you're not really explaining what you meant when you called him crazy for pointing that out. Or Kurt Metzger, for that matter. You could also look at the Kurt Metzger clips and others. But needless to say, I wanted to make this video to at least, I guess, give him credit for apologizing to his friend and taking the blame there and accepting his fault. I think that needed to be said, right? Because we did a pretty scathing video, and I like his show. We did a pretty scathing video talking about it before he had put out the apology, and it's good to do a follow-up. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.